Welcome to my garage.
Today on Hot Rod TV, we get a look into the world of Michael Anthony.
Hot rods, rock and roll, it all kind of goes together.
Michael's '69 Shelby Mustang is going to get its killer instinct back.
It just has that stance like, get out of my way, I'll run you over.
This is a very serious show. With very serious horsepower.
That's what I like to hear right there.
All today on Hot Rod TV. Bass-playing legend Michael Anthony and his wife Sue are car enthusiasts who take their hobby very seriously.
My wife's always loved Mustangs, so I actually bought it for her. She won't tell you that, though. And it was just a great car. We bought it. We didn't want to buy anything that was like too concourse because we wanted to be able to drive it and have fun in it.
When we first saw it, it was like, I mean, it's a beautiful color orange, and I just fell in love with it.
I think they only built a few hundred of those in 1969. And it had everything that she wanted on it. Obviously, a convertible she wanted, automatic, and it had factory air conditioning too. So I think between those three things that we decided, well, that's the car that we want to get, that we can have a lot of fun in, you know, all year round.
I think what makes those Shelbys just so iconic is the NACA ducks on the hood. And Mike's is just, it's such a great car with the orange and the white stripe and that stark white interior. And you know, you've got that roll bar. It's what everybody wanted growing up.
We found this one that was actually in a pretty immaculate condition, but could still be a great driver. And after owning it for a few years, all of a sudden I started thinking, well, it'd be kind of cool to go through and restore it up a little bit and really get it back to how it should be and get it to drive a lot nicer.
Well, if any place can make a car like that Shelby even better, it would have to be Gateway Classic Mustang in Bourbon, Missouri.
Mike had bought this car supposedly for his wife. So he kind of wanted to freshen it up, make sure it was nice and roadworthy, make sure the AC worked well. He was having some problems with overheating and things like that. So basically, we just wanted to freshen it up for him.
Late 2007, Sammy and I went out and we toured in the Midwest, and Sammy had just had this company, Gateway Classic Mustang, out of, I think they're Bourbon, Missouri, build him a Red Rocker Mustang, which I knew nothing about until we started the tour, and I saw it because the car was touring around at all the venues. Got to drive Hagar's car.
Mike had saw a lot of the magazine coverage. He saw the Hot Rod TV show that we did, and he basically came to me and said, hey, I have a '69 Shelby that I bought for my wife, and wanted to know if we could do some stuff to make it the car where it would handle better and drive better and just make the car like it was when it rolled off the assembly line.
I was pretty impressed with the guys and their whole philosophy and how down to earth they were. You know, they didn't have any kind of attitudes or egos or anything. So I thought, well, these guys might be the perfect guys to send the car to have them look at it and see what they could do.
You know, Mike is a great guy, but, you know, working with rock stars is kind of second nature to us.
So the Shelby was sent over to Gateway, where a team of superstar car guys disassembled both the engine and the suspension.
This car came in pretty good. Somebody had restored this car in the early 90s. When you do a restoration like this on a car of this quality, you want to try to make it look exactly the way it came off the assembly line from Detroit. They did a lot of the correct concourse paint underneath, where basically the bottom of the car was all primered from Ford. The engine bay was just sprayed from the top, so none of the undercarriage really got any color on it, so it's just the gray primer. The overspray and the detail is what somebody looking for an original car or a well-restored car, they're going to be looking for those kind of details. That's what brings the value to the car.
We don't have that much time to get this car done. We had 2 months to begin with, and now we're down to 3 weeks to get it done, and this is what we have.
Coming up, we visit Michael Anthony's private garage. And we'll also see how the boys at Gateway are doing with his Shelby. Oh, and one more thing.
Stay tuned for more Hot Rod TV.
We have Michael Anthony's 1969 GT500 Shelby convertible.
Here at Gateway Classic Mustang, the engine, transmission, and suspension are all getting reworked on this classic. But before we join the team on the car, we have a very special invitation.
Welcome to my garage. I don't have a huge stable of cars. I mean, I'd love to actually own 100 cars if I could, but the only problem is I like to drive each and every one of my cars. These are all like my kids, and I do not want to walk into a garage where it's just a stable of cars on battery chargers. My first hot rod, actually right here behind me, is my 33 Fire Roadster, we call it. I think the funnest thing about driving this car is actually just taking the top off it and just mashing the pedal to the floor. I got a few of my signature things. I like hot, spicy food, so we milled, and you can get down here, we actually milled a chili pepper into the rear end cover there. Just a fun car to drive around and have a good time in. This is my 84 512 Boxer. When Sammy Hagar joined Van Halen back in 1986, he brought that whole Ferrari vibe to the full because I had never owned an exotic car before. I bought this quite a few years ago, actually. It's a 99 550 Maranello. My wife and I like to go out, if we go out on a weekend cruise or out of town, we like to take this car. It's just a great driving touring car. This car right here, my 57 Nomad, I bought this actually at the Barrett-Jackson auction a couple of years ago. I wanted to keep the car as stock looking as I could. You know, obviously from the outside it looks pretty stock with, you know, all the custom stuff underneath and inside, but built a small center console. The reason I did that is so it doesn't look like all of a sudden you see an aftermarket stereo in there with the original looking stereo. I wanted to still look like it just had the one unit in there. So it worked out pretty good.
Now, back over at Gateway, things are well underway.
First thing we're going to do is throw the rear end under this car. We're going to stick the fresh suspension on the front, get the steering on it, get the transmission back in it that Bowler rebuilt for us. Daryl Blumner is our lead technician here. He's a trained senior master Ford technician. Worked years with the dealerships and things like that, so he's going to kind of ramrod this project for us.
We're installing the shackles now. They've been restored and repainted, putting in new shackle bushings so they're good and tight.
When we got the car here and we pulled out the engine, saw the transmission needed to be freshened up and rebuilt, and I called Mark up at Bowler Transmissions, asked him, hey, if I got this out to you today, could you have it back to me in 2 days? Like usual, Mark pulled through for us and got us our transmission. It's sitting here today. We're going to slam it in the car.
So while they're installing that transmission at Gateway, there's a few more cool rides that Michael Anthony is dying to show us.
Okay, actually, we got a couple more cars over here. Right here is my 1940 Ford convertible, all steel body, beautiful in-shape car when I first bought it. This one I wanted to build a hot rod that was a little more comfortable, so like, you know, if I went on any kind of an overnight cruise or something like that. And it's just a great fun car to drive. And last but certainly not least here is my 2005 Ford GT. When I want to go out and have a good time on the freeway, this is the car.
We get the feeling that that was something of an understatement. This GT can perform. Michael's had the car's computer remapped, allowing it to produce over 700 horsepower. Meanwhile, back at Gateway, the team is working, but hopefully for the sake of the king, it's safety first.
Hey Elvis, be real careful, you know, we don't want you to break your hip or anything here.
Still working better.
Dyno tested, ready to go. With this big of a motor, the exhaust being the way it is, it being a convertible, we just got to shove it in there as tight as we can get it, as far back as we can get it, and then try to set the motor in without scratching anything, which that's the challenge because a big block 428 Cobra Jet car in a Mustang is not a fun project at all.
Coming up, Michael Anthony has some very special guitars to share with us, plus a sneak peek at Michael's next project car.
Hey, grab a cold one and come on right back. There's more Hot Rod TV coming at you.
Gateway Classic Mustang is upgrading Michael Anthony's '69 Shelby. Cars are just one of Michael's passions. Besides rock and roll, Michael's business interests include the creation of a hot sauce called Mad Anthony, as well as Bond Speed, a company that focuses on the hot rod lifestyle. Bond Speed is putting out a line of wheels, watches, and soon, cars.
Bond Speed actually all came about when I first met Brad Fanshaw back in 1994.
Mike was working on a project truck, and things weren't going as smooth as he would have hoped, and so we got together to help him out with that.
We became pretty good friends right off the bat because we both love the same thing. You know, we love fast cars, fast food, fast women, you name it.
We're really based on the whole lifestyle image of the automobile and the design side. So Mike will go out from a whole different direction. It's that whole rock and roll lifestyle. And we kind of blend that and mold it into to our whole inspiration for our product design.
I remember sometime back telling Brad that I would love to do a muscle car if we found the right kind of car to do. And so we actually found the 66 Chevelle.
It's going to have a twin supercharged Paxton aluminum small block. It's got an Art Morrison chassis under it. We're doing a lot of metal work to it. It's going to be a bad car.
It's kind of like the other side of me, because one side's the music side and the other side, I love to do all this with cars, and it was just the perfect marriage, I thought.
Now, not to pressure the Gateway guys, but nothing less than matrimonial bliss is expected from this completed Shelby.
Looks like they got that stabbed in there. Let's start hanging the suspension stuff on the front of this. Scott Drake makes new perches for the coil springs to set in. Basically, this sits in on top of your control arm that holds the spring and everything in place once we get it all bolted in. Or we can throw the nuts down on the floor, who cares? Like a glove. The biggest problem on these are the big block springs are really a lot taller and a lot stiffer than the small block springs. The hard part is getting the spring collapsed enough to get everything in. It says here on our handy list, bolt the steering stuff on. So that's next. This is the steering box. We sent it out, they rebuilt it. Basically, this thing will now be just like it was in 1969, right out the factory. Putting it back together, you really have to take your time, make sure everything was put together the right way, not scratching the paint. Make sure you don't mark up the bolts and the nuts that you put on.
It's precision craftsmanship for the love of cars and guitars. Just ask Michael.
Hot rods, rock and roll, it all kind of goes together. And I thought at one point, why not try to combine the two into a guitar?
And the Michael Anthony Hot Rod Bass was born.
You've got the billet aluminum wheel, you got the center cap, you've got wire, you've got glass, you've got rubber, you got the aluminum, you got a flame, you got the keys. So you really have almost every aspect that a hot rod has. But then we had to incorporate the other thing. When you have hot rod and you got rock and roll, you got to have girls. So the overall shape of the bass is basically, it's a one-piece girls swimming suit. What's pretty amazing about this bass, though, is that there are thousands of hours into this, because it started as a solid block of aluminum. One of our guys in the body shop actually spent hundreds of hours hand shaping it, sanding it, filing it, but also Mike's guys doing all the electronics inside.
Okay, it's time to go from the base to the place known as Gateway. Here at the shop, it looks like they're ready to roll in the tread.
All right, so we're gonna slap these new BFGs up on Mike's car so he can get some traction, and this car is gonna handle like it's on rails.
These are mock-up wheels for now. And now we're installing the tie rods and the drag link, control valve, all that's been rebuilt. We don't have the power top hooked up.
Trivia fun fact for everybody. 68, 69, and 70 Shelbys all had these little rings on the roll bar. That was actually to tie surfboards from the windshield post to the top of the roll bar.
Holly has went in and restored a carburetor for us for Mike's car. Oh, that is awesome.
When we got this thing in, it was slobbering some oil, so we decided to pull it apart, look at, we're gonna re-gasket it. We found actually a couple of bent push rods, a couple of bad valves in there. We really kind of dodged the bullet for Mike on that. Got it all put back together, fresh coat of paint. This thing will be ready to rock and roll.
You're dealing with a lot of old parts, And most of this stuff you figure has been around close to 40 years now. So metallurgy being what it is, a lot of this stuff is not like it used to be.
Okay, so we've just about got the 428 Cobra Jet ready to go back in Mike's Shelby. As soon as we get it in there, buttoned up, get it fired up, Mike will be ready to start running with the double.
Coming up, you don't want to miss the official unveiling of Shelby Sue.
Hey, stick around for more Hot Rod TV.
Gateway Classic Mustang in Bourbon, Missouri is putting the finishing touches on this '69 Shelby Mustang.
We've taken the original factory heater box and AC box and we've had it rebuilt. This is going to be able to keep Michael cool in Southern California even though he has a convertible.
Currently the focus is the fenders, and these are parts that are as rare as the rest of the ride.
Ford and Shelby came up with these completely unique for 69, 70 Shelbys. It's a full fiberglass fender and they added about 4.5, 5 inches on the end.
With the Mustang, me and my brothers always liked it over the GM styling, the lines of the Mustang, the appearance of the way the Mustang stance is. Everything about the Mustang since day one. They stayed true to what they wanted to do.
What I hope that Mike appreciates from the car when he gets it back is, you know, when he first looks at it, it's not going to look that much different. When he pops the hood, the detail that we brought this car back to showroom quality detail, the ride characteristics of it with all new suspension components, the brakes are going to work right, the steering is going to be nice and tight. I think he's really going to appreciate the way the car drives and the usability of it.
And before long, it's delivery day. The team from Gateway goes to see Michael and Sue to show the couple that the best can be made even better.
You made it.
Yes, sir.
All right, nice to see you here.
Nice to see you guys.
Kind of a rush to get here, huh?
Oh, boy, yeah.
Everything go okay?
Yes, sir. Everything.
Well, let's grab Mike and Sue and get this thing unloaded.
I just want you guys to know this is not our home, this is our warehouse.
The last time I saw it, it was all in pieces on the computer.
I showed her the website over at Gateway Mustang, and I said, well, you want to see some of the shots of what they're doing to the car, and the first one I punched up was basically the whole front end torn apart, and she freaked, she slapped me, she said, what are you doing to my cars? I thought I was just getting wheels and tires and a nice exhaust or something.
Sue can't wait to see it. She loves this car, and if predictions are correct, it's a safe bet she's now gonna love it even more. Of course, Michael has plans of his own.
I want to look under the hood, first off, is what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's looking good, but at the moment, Sue's just glad it's all put back together.
Is that the same car that was on the pictures in the computer?
Yeah. Yes.
That's it. This is what I was waiting for right here. Oh my God. That is beautiful.
Wow. Wow.
Far cry from what it looked like when it got to you guys. That's the sound out. That's what I like to hear right there. Come on, 428 Cobra Jet, baby.
So I mean, this thing's pretty much detailed back.
That's right. Put it
exactly.
back. Put it back to how it should be.
I mean, that's what brings the big money.
Yeah.
You know, that's what makes the cars valuable.
I mean, in all honesty, this is one of the nicest cars we've seen come through our shop. And it was great working on it and being able to get it to this stage. Now, hopefully, you guys can go out and do some driving with it and see how you like it.
Oh yeah, this is it. This is what this car was meant for, right here. We'll sit in it, see how it feels, see if it fits.
If it fits, it fits.
This is the part I really hate. Now you're gonna see me, a grown man, cry here.
We completely redid the steering wheel. It's all been redone. The center pad's all been replaced. It's all new stuff on the steering wheel.
Wow.
Mike, are you okay back there?
No, I'm not.
Mike's not looking so good here. He's like, I wanted to sit in it. I want to drive it.
It feels good. It feels, I love, the seats are comfortable anyway, so I like that, but this feels good. We need to drive it.
Coming up, Michael Anthony's got one more trick up his sleeve, and Shelby Sue finally gets to take her baby for a test drive.
Come back for some more Hot Rod TV.
It's taken a lot to get Sue's Shelby back into shape, and to make his wife's dream car complete, Michael Anthony has one more surprise.
You got your new car, huh?
Got it.
Got it all. It's all new again.
Check it out.
You know what it needs, though? you a custom one-off set of wheels for it.
Are you serious?
So that it's your Shelby.
What can I say? It is your car.
What did you guys do?
It's a brand new set of wheels. Some Biff Goodrich
Whoa.
tires. Now it's Sue's Shelby.
Wow, thank you. Those are nice. When do they go on?
We're gonna put them on right away.
Are you?
Yeah.
They surprised me with wheels for it, and I was totally shocked. I had no idea. I thought it was keeping the Cobra wheels on it because that's the way it's supposed to look. But it looks really nice with these wheels on it. It really kind of makes it more of a muscle car look to me.
The reborn car is incredibly cool. The engine, suspension, and transmission have all been put through a time machine, now humming together as though they just left the showroom floor. And Sue, well, she just couldn't wait anymore. She just had to go for a test drive.
It handles so much nicer. It's a happier car. It's all better. It feels great. It rides. It actually, when you put your foot on the brake, it stops now. And it's not creaking and crunching and.
What happens when you put your foot on the gas, though?
I know.
Go!
I just want to thank those guys. They're just awesome. That's all I can say. They're just awesome.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Oh, yeah. Come on, fellas. Come on. Let's have it right there, Lonnie.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
And that was just the passengers. Good job, fellas.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.
Mike has his dream car. Oh, excuse me, Sue's dream car. And he added it to his collection, and it couldn't have gone to a better place.
Hey, license plate says I got my name on it, Shelby Sue. I'll drive it. I'll let him drive it. I'll let him drive it. Of course, he'll sneak it out anyways and not let me know about it.
So as the 69 makes tracks, we say goodbye, knowing we'll see you next time on Hot Rod TV.
Yeah, baby!